to Vanga English Padikalam channel. I am your English teacher Moganapriya speaking. In this class, we are going to see 4th unit poem Ulysses by Alfred Tennyson. Ulysses, Alfred Lord Tennyson. Central idea of the poem. Ulysses wants to continue a challenging and adventured life instead of staying stable to death. Here is a short outline about the content of the poem so that you can get an idea about the poem. What is it about? Odysseus or Ulysses. Odysseus is Greek name, Ulysses is Latin name, is the hero of Homer's epic poem, the Odysseus. He is the king of Ithaca, husband of Penelope, father of Telemachus. He took 10 years to get home from the Trojan War. Ulysses is a great adventurer known for his cunning and resourcefulness. Stanza form. The poem is divided into 3 stanzas or groups of lines coinciding with the division of thoughts. First stanza, lines 1 to 32. Ulysses is speaking to himself, expressing his dissatisfaction with his idle life and his longing for his former life of adventure. Second stanza, lines 33 to 43. Ulysses speaks to an unidentified listener about his son. Third stanza, lines 44 to 70. Ulysses is speaking to his old crew about the need to go again to the sea. In Tennyson's poem about Ulysses, the hero is on the island of Ithaca. In retirement, Ulysses contemplates one final voyage. It's written in the first person. It's a dramatic monologue. Ulysses is speaking here, as it is in the book about the author, that is, about the poet. Alfred Tennyson, 1st Baron Tennyson, 6th August 1809 to 6th October 1892, was a British poet. He was the poet laureate of Great Britain and Ireland during much of Queen Victoria's reign and remains one of the most popular poets. Tennyson excelled at penning short lyrics such as Break, 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 The Charge of the Light Brigade, Tears, Idle Tears, and Crossing the Bar. He wrote verses on classical mythology such as Ulysses, Idols of the King, and Tithonus. Tennyson's use of the musical qualities of words to emphasize his rhythms and meanings is sensitive. He lived during Victorian's reign and he was also poet laureate. He wrote so many short lyrics which attracted all. Introduction to the poem. The poem Ulysses is a dramatic monologue we have seen already that contains 70 lines of blank verses without any rhyme scheme. Ulysses, the king of Ithaca, gathers his men together to prepare for the journey and exhorts them not to waste their time left on earth. Ulysses has grown old, having experienced many adventures at the Battle of Troy and in the seas. After returning to Ithaca, he desires to embark upon his next voyage. His inquisitive spirit is always looking forward to more and more of such adventures. The poem can be divided into 3 parts. The thirst for adventure, which does not allow Ulysses to remain in his kingdom as a mere ruler. Ulysses handing over the responsibility to his son Telemachus with total confidence in his abilities. Ulysses' clarion call to his sailors, urging them to venture into unknown lands. Read the poem Ulysses by Alfred Lord Tennyson, which speaks of the unquenchable thirst of the great hero Ulysses for travel and exploration of new vistas until death would overpower him. It little profits that an idle king, By this still hearth among these barren crage, matched with an aged wife, I meet and dole unequal laws unto a savage race. The king Ulysses is telling us that a king gains nothing from just sitting around by the fire with his wife and making laws for people who don't even know him. The phrase, "It little profits," is another way of saying it is useless. Meet means to allot or to measure out. Here it refers to the king's allotment of rewards and punishments to the subject, that is, people. Unequal doesn't mean that the rewards and punishments are unjust or unfair, but rather variable. Matched. It doesn't mean any sporting match, it means something like paired or partnered with. The hoard and sleep and feed and know not me. I cannot rest from travel. I will drink life to the lees. All times I have enjoyed greatly, have suffered greatly, both with those that loved me and alone on shore and when through scudding drifts the rainy haze wicks the dim sea. I became a name for always roaming with the hungry heart. Ulysses, the first, that is here in this slide, first stanza. According to the poet, it is the second stanza. The hoard that hoard and sleep and feed and know not me. Ulysses subjects are presented to us a large group of drones who do nothing but eat and sleep. After his moralistic opening, Ulysses tells us more about why sitting around doling, that is just benefiting others, out rewards and punishment, bores him. We learn that he is restless spirit who does not want to take a break from roaming this ocean in search of adventure. He will not let life pass him by. That loved ones. See, in the first stanza, life to the lees. The word lees originally refers to the sediment accumulated at the bottom of a wine. To drink life to the lees means to drink to the very last drop. Nowadays, we might say something like live life to the fullest. Ulysses tells us that he has a lot of good times and a lot of bad times, sometimes with his best friends and sometimes alone, both on dry land and while sailing through potentially destructive storm. Drift or pounding shower of rain that one might encounter at sea during a storm. The Heights are a group of stars associated with rain. Their rising in the sky generally coincides with the rainy season. Here they are presented as agitators of the ocean. Ulysses elaborates on good times and bad times he has enjoyed during his travel. The phrase "I became a name" means something like become a household name. Ulysses has become famous because he has traveled to so many places. Much have I seen and known cities of men and manners, climates, councils, governments, myself not least, but honored of them all, and drunk delight of battle with my peers, groups. Far on the ringing plains of windy Troy, I am not a part of all that I have met. Yet all experience is an art, whether to gleam that untravelled world whose margin fades. Ulysses tells us that he has visited a variety of different places with different manners, weather, government, etc. He portrays himself as a traveler with an insatiable desire, that is, hungry heart, to see as many places as he can, try as many foods as he can. The phrase myself not least, but honor of them all means something like I was not treated like the least little thing, but was honored by everybody I met. Ulysses also described the time he spent on the ringing plains of windy Troy, the famous city where the Trojan War took place. The plains are ringing because of the armor clashing together in battle. I am a part of all that I have met. Is a strange phrase. Usually we say something like all the places I have seen are now at part of me. The phrase suggests that Ulysses left parts of himself everywhere he went. This sounds like another way of saying I don't belong here to Ithaca because he has traveled to so many places. Ulysses further justifies his desire to keep traveling and living a life of adventure. He compares his life or experiences to an ark and describe in the last before second line he compares his life or experience to an ark and describes to untraveled world as a place that gleams at him through that art. All he has to do is walk through the forever and ever when I move, how dull it is to pass, to make an end, to rest unburnished, not to shine in use, as though to breathe were life, life piled on life, were all too little and of one to me. Little remains, but every hour is saved from that eternal silence, something more, a bringer of new things, and while it were. Ulysses reiterates how boring it is just sitting around when he could be out exploring the world. He likens himself to some kind of metallic instrument that is still perfectly useful and shining, but just rust if nobody uses it. For Ulysses, life is about more than just breathing, it's about adventure. Ulysses continues to radiate a desire for adventure, claiming that even multiple lifetimes would be enough for him to do all the things he wants. At this point, though he is an old man, a grey spirit near the end of his life, and he wants to make the most of what's left, it's waste of time for him to hang out in Ithaca for 3 years when his desire for adventure is still so alive. The phrase, but every house is saved from that eternal silence, something more. The bringer of new things is strange. It means something like each additional hour that I love or each hour that I am saved from death brings me new experience. For some 3 suns to store and hoard myself, and this is grey spirit yearning in desire to follow knowledge like a sinking star beyond the utmost bound of human thought. At this point, though he is an old man, a grey spirit, near the end of his life, he wants to make the most of what he left. It's waste of time for him to hang out in Ithaca for 3 years. 3 suns, that is 3 years, when his desire for adventure is still alive. The phrase, but every hour is saved from eternal silence, something more. That is the bringer of new thing it strange. It means something like each additional hour that I love, or each hour that I am saved from death brings me new experience. 3 suns does not mean 3 days, but rather 3 years. The phrase follow knowledge like sinking star. Sinking star is ambitious. On the other hand, Ulysses wants to chase after knowledge and try to catch it as it sinks like a star. On the other hand, Ulysses himself could be the sinking star. That makes sense too. He is a great personality who is moving closer to death. The next stanza, this is my son, mine own Telemachus, to whom I leave the sceptre and ezel. Well loved of me, designing to fulfill this labor, by slow prudence to make mild. Ulysses till now, that is till 32, it is different, and here from the stanza the idea shifts. Ulysses introduces us to his son and heir Telemachus, who seems like the right guy to take over the job of king of Ithaca. He is smart and he knows how to make his people do things without being too harsh about it. The scepter is a ceremonial staff that symbolizes authority. You know, it is a ceremonial staff that symbolizes authority. Ulysses means something like I leave him in charge. When compared with Ulysses, Telemachus seems a lot less restless. He has slow prudence, meaning he is patient and willing to make the best decision for the people of Ithaca without being too hasty. In offices of tenderness and pay, meet adoration of my household gods. When I am gone, he works his work, I mine. There lies the port, the vessel puffs her sail. The people of Ithaca are rugged, which means that they are a little uncivilized and uncultured. They are with a little bit of an attitude. That's why they need to be reined in, subdued, that is, mild manner, and put to good use. That is, soft degrees implies that Telemachus will civilize the citizens of Ithaca in stage and in a nice way. Ulysses tells us more about Telemachus' qualifications. He is straight shooter all the way and a nice guy. The gloom, the dark boat sees my mariners, souls that have toiled and wrought and thought with me, that with a frolic welcome took the thunder and sunshine and opposed. Decent not to fail means Telemachus is smart enough not to fail at doing nice things of people and paying the people to respect the gods. Free hearts, free foreheads, you and I are old. Old age hath yet his honor and his toil. Death closes all, but something ere at the end, some work of noble notes may be yet done. The phrase opposed free hearts, free foreheads is a little tricky. Ulysses means that his sailor opposed whatever came in their way, thunder, for example, and they did it as free men and with a lot of confidence. Speaking of old age, Ulysses suggests that even though old people are respected, they also have responsibilities. Ulysses knows that death will end everything, but he still believes that he can do great things, things worth of men who fought against the will of gods during the Trojan War. Era means an old poetic word that is before. Not becoming men that strove with God, the lights begin to twinkle from the rocks. The long day wanes, the slow moon climbs, the deep moans round with my voice. Come, my friend. Ulysses observed that the sunset and the arrival of night, but it seems like he is thinking about his own death as well. It reminds us of ghost or people mourning of death. Lights begin to twinkle from the rocks is an elegant way of saying the stars coming out. Ulysses is addressing to his friends. He tells them what he's been telling us all. It's never too late to go in search of new lands. It's not too late to seek a newer world. Push off and sitting well in order, Smith. The sounding furrows for my purpose hold to sail beyond the sunset and the baths of all the western stars until I die. It may be that the gulfs will wash us down. It may be we shall touch the happy Isle and see the great Achilles whom we knew. Is introducing, that is addressing his friend. He tells them what he has been telling to us all. It is never too late to go in search of new lands. He is a furrow refers here the furrow refers to the track or a mark made in the water by the ship. He tells his sailors to smite, that is, or to strike it most likely with oar. Purpose can mean two different things. It can mean either destiny, as in the baths is not a place where the stars go to the bath themselves. It refers to the outer ocean or river that the Greek believed surrounded the earth. They thought the stars descended into it. The to sail beyond the baths means Ulysses want to sail really far away beyond the horizon of the known universe until he dies. The happy Isle refers to the island of the blessed, a place where big time Greek heroes like Achilles enjoyed perpetual summer after they died. We can say even heaven here. Ulysses realizes that he and his companions might die, but he is okay with that. If they die, they might even get to go to the happy Isle and visit their own or old friend Achilles. Though much is taken, much abates, though we are not now that strength which in old days moved earth and heaven, that which we are. We are unequal temper of heroic heart, made weak by time and fate, but strong in will to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield. Ulysses yet again tells us that even though he and his sailors are old and don't have a lot of gas left in this tank, there is enough left to go a little farther. Abits is a word that means remains. These guys are a team with one heartbeat. They are old and broken, but they still have the will to seek out and face challenges without giving up. The phrase strong in will to strive, to seek, to find, and not yield means something like we are strong because of our will to strive, or our will to strive is strong. Here are the book back exercises. From line 1 to 32, they have given in the paragraph format and that too in the format of Phillips. They have given few words at the bottom of the paragraph. We have to fill it. Already I have filled the answers here. You just see. From 33 to 42 is a short paragraph here. Here also we have few words. You can fill it up, but I have done it for you. 44 to 70 is another para. 44 poem line 44 to 70 is another para given. Just I have done for you. And here are the question answer. Answer the following questions in one or two sentences. Ulysses is not happy to perform his duties as a king. Why? Ulysses is long for adventure. He wants to travel to new places, so he is not happy to perform his duties as a king. What does he think of the people of his kingdom? Ulysses thinks that the people of his kingdom are savage and they only eat and sleep. Do not know Ulysses. What has Ulysses gained from his travel experience? Ulysses has traveled far and wide, gaining knowledge of various places, cultures, men, and matters. Pick out the lines which convey that his quest for travel is unending. I cannot rest from the travel forever and ever when I move. These are the lines. See, I have given book back questions. That is, these are the short question answers. Just you follow the things and identify the figure of speech. You are having personification, metaphor, simile. You just note the lines and memorize. These are the book back questions. These are the appreciation questions from your book bag. You just see. Don't bother because I have attached the PDF format of this. Okay, you can write easily from that PDF. See, these are the appreciation questions. That too from your book bag. This is your ERC, that is explained with reference to the context. You can choose any one of the comment which is more apt and you can use for all the poem, all the line in this poem, not for all the poem. A, B, C, D, E, F, H, I, J. One is missing and it will be in PDF format. Additional appreciation questions and answers. These are few more additional questions you have. Just if you want to write it from here, you just pause the video and you can write, or else you go to the PDF format I have attached here. You can write it from that PDF. You can use PDF format. That will be very easier for you to follow. These are the figure of speeches more. I have given maximum number of figure of speeches. Just go through it. Alliteration. And thank you.